So yeah, I think it has the same menu as what that one has. So let's show you what I mean. And turn it on. So I plugged an aerial into this now and done the scan. And so yeah, there's the channels.
Tax is on the up too.
And it hasn't just gone up just a little bit, it's gone up, you know,
So
quite a
we
lot.
got
Essential services that we've...
EPG there. So EPG. Oh, and I have to
savings now.
close this line a little bit, I think. Get too quiet in here.
Family, it's an extra 500 quid.
Alright, so I want to plug a HDMI in and try that.
Whatever your circumstances, taking a moment to work out what your increase will be will give you the best chance to stay on top of those rises. Let us...
So
3 and a bit miles is something like 5,000. So I guess it's B.
I really wasn't expecting anything just because of how the health market.
It back into life. Now, have I ever actually done that? No,
But it's
never done it.
therapeutic.
But I just like
Oh my
watching
goodness,
it.
you need to do it. It's so therapeutic. We have had this table and chairs, and we've had it for about 14 years, okay? It's a beautiful piece of wood, but it was like a mahogany sort of colour, and where I've moved, it's all oak tables. We took it with us. It was one of the...
Partner, let's make it.
Well, don't get copyright.
Use the Frenchy
Right,
wax,
let's
waxy
try the HDMI, see if that works.
The president's expected to impose a range of new import taxes or tariffs on goods coming from abroad. Mr. Trump claims this will boost US manufacturing and create American jobs. But other countries could retaliate by taxing goods coming from the United States. And all of this could hurt our own economy.
Here in the UK, about 2% of our economy is accounted for by exports to the US. Clearly, if UK exports to the US get more expensive, then it's possible that the US might consume less of them. So it has an impact on potentially jobs and employment in those sectors that are particularly exposed to America.
Here's what it could mean, according to the Office for Budget Responsibility. If the United States were to introduce an extra 20% tariff on all goods coming into the country, it would hit UK economic output, cutting up to 0.6% a year compared to existing forecasts, and with the effects lasting until the end of the decade. You can see that in light blue here. But if the UK and other countries were to retaliate by imposing their own tariffs on US produce, the effects would be much greater, knocking 0.6% off output this year, 1% next year, and so on. You can see that in dark blue. And of course, this is quite significant and would also knock the Chancellor's spending plans off course.
HDMI is really tight to get in there.
But ministers admit that's unlikely, to begin with at least.
So let's have a look. See now, do we get
from the US? It appears tomorrow there'll be no country in the world exempt from the initial announcements, but then there'll be the potential to reach agreement with the US on a better way forward.
Sorry, the dog
Experts say there
barks.
could be a benefit for consumers if goods that were destined for the United States are sold cheaply in the UK instead. But even that might have a downside.
You see blokes get together in a pub.
Yeah, HDMI. It's good, excellent.
And so that energy and kisses and compliments. And what that adds up to
is that the permission we have between us to say certain things and
So
do
we
certain
want
things, I
to
think
put
is
that down a
taken
bit.
away, and so we don't have the intimacy in our friendships. But the second big thing connects to, I think, what a lot of you spoken about today is male friendships thrive side by side based around a shared activity and generally in groups. Right? This has been tons of research about this.
That looks good, but it does take out a lot of the detail too, so I'll just stick it on medium.
Refine those activities or keep them
I've
going.
still got a bit of a cold,
school
so
friends, you keep that going and someone leads it. And that is another key thing, is someone has got to step forward who sends the text, organises the going, right, everyone phone their wives, we're all going to Tenerife for the week off.
Thank you so much. How many friends have you got now, by the way? How's it working out for you?
150.
It tries to sit this one out or gets involved. It's going to affect us here and affect our economy, our growth, our jobs. But there may be some silver linings, for example, in the terms of cheaper goods coming from other countries.
I'm still tuning this in.
Faisal, thank you. And let's also
probably
talk
a
to
bit
our
more
political
colour.
correspondent, Helen Catt. Helen, as we heard, Keir Starmer and his ministers been working hard to try to get exemptions from the United States for Britain. Are they still optimistic they might be able to get something down the road, some concessions?
Well, there's certainly no indication that they're starting to have an immediate change of strategy here. They are
It's a
sticking
bit
with
good
this plan
tea for
of trying to
someone's
get that
bedroom.
broader economic deal, focusing on technology, some other trade in goods and services, and then wrapping in as part of that, reducing tariffs. And government sources think they've made progress on that. They think
Sounds
they're
okay.
there,
It's not the best
so, in
sound, but
effect,
for
what
the
they're doing is
size,
playing a long game
it's
beyond
fine.
tomorrow. But there are a few questions with that. So firstly, is President Trump playing by the same rules or even on the same board? You know, he said some things publicly which haven't matched what his negotiators thought he wanted, so there is still a risk that it could be derailed that way. What is the government having to offer up to try and get this deal, and what happens if it doesn't work? Now, the Prime Minister has said that all options remain on the table. That includes retaliatory tariffs against the US, but there are problems with that, as you've just heard Faisal and Theo outline, and ministers do not want to end up in a potentially damaging trade war. The big risk, though, to all of this is that the global uncertainty knocks the economy and means the Chancellor has to look once again at plans on borrowing, spending,
light,
and
it's
taxes
so
here.
bright in this room. I have to get a funny angle, or otherwise the light just shines right off it.
700 people have died from Friday's earthquake in Myanmar. The ruling military junta there has a
Put it
history
on that
of
angle.
suppressing the scale of national disasters. Well, today there has been a minute's
Light in
silence
this room is
to remember the
dreadful.
victims.